Hello friends. Month of May 2023 is very interesting, especially because of the transit of Jupiter. It brings a new view of the world situation and in lives of individuals. Also, it hints at changes and expansion, at least in one area of life. In this video, we will talk mainly about Jupiter, and I will also explain the meaning of the eclipse in Scorpio from the astropsychological point of view. Of course, I will also mention some other small transits and aspects, few of them. So to see the lunar and activity and important transits, let's say that full moon is going to happen on the 5th of May in Scorpio, which is also lunar eclipse. And new moon will happen on May 19 in Taurus. Important transits are Sun until 21st in Taurus, Mercury in Taurus from the 15th direct, Venus until the 7th in Gemini, then in Cancer, Mars until the 20th in Cancer, then in Leo, Jupiter until the 16th in Aries, then in Taurus, and all major planets direct as in April. So things are happening now, when all planets are direct, especially those big ones, then we expect changes, and they're happening indeed. Jupiter is in Taurus from the 17th of May 2023 until the 25th of May in 2024. As we know, in Taurus is also Rahu, the north node, lunar node, and also Uranus. So now is joined by Jupiter, which further emphasizes the sign of Taurus and everything that Taurus represents. And of course, in May also we have very strong lunar activity in Taurus, or on this axis, Taurus Scorpio, and we have Sun in Taurus. So everything is now happening in the Taurus sign. The Taurus is the earth sign and symbolizes personal possessions, personal earnings, personal values also. Also symbolizes real estate, resources of our own, but also resources of our planet. It represents further biological life on Earth, thus Earth itself, or we can say water, air, and everything that we call nature. Taurus is a female sign, passive and receptive, prone to aesthetics, receptive to sensual pleasures, and further it signifies the power of magnetism. While Aries is electricity, Taurus is magnetism. Since 2018, we have been talking about Uranus in Taurus. Check out the videos on this topic. There are several of them that I've been recording in the last years, and I guess they will be very useful to see what can come further now. Unfortunately, as I spoke in many of my videos, Uranus more destroys than it supports while being in Taurus sign. And it destroys that what we were talking about. Nature, first of all. This is this geoengineering now, activated more than ever, for example, and many other things like that. Jupiter is the planet of happiness and success, is simply saying. It brings a wider perspective, awakens intuition, brings faith, and gives meaning to everything. However, although it is very beneficial in every sign, Jupiter still does not feel the best in Taurus. Of course, here it can remove the fear from hunger, for poverty, fear of material problems. Also can help people to use their knowledge and resources wisely. But even that depends on other transits. It's not just like that can do that. Even as Jupiter emphasizes everything, if there is a problem in this field, Jupiter can enlarge the problem. Fortunately, usually not on the for the long time. Pardon. It was true. Jupiter is in Taurus in the sign ruled by Venus. And these two planets, Venus and Jupiter, represent two opposite principles. Venus is desire and sensual pleasures, And Jupiter represents visions and true spiritual and psychological knowledge. It is clear that people often have a problem to harmonize those two completely opposite energies. Do not mix never your desires with your visions. Desires are, I want that, and I don't know if that can happen, but I can die for that. But vision is something that it's most probably going to happen because it's intuition and we don't know where it comes from and why do we feel it. But it is something that will lead us to future activities, to some future events. And it is going to be true one day. In the natal horoscope, Jupiter in Taurus gives a man who is focused on himself and his own values. He can have exceptional talents for singing, speaking, visual arts, or any arts even, for cooking and the like, but it can also intensively work on acquisition of personal wealth. This is one of those signs, combinations, Jupiter with Taurus, that gives people who are kind of obsessed with their personal possessions. Well, it's good and bad at the same time. It can be very good, it can be bad, depends what you do with this. It's interesting that for all of us now, where Jupiter is in Taurus, it is quite good that we protect what we have, and that we basically think of that, what do we have, what is in our possession, or what do we have from God, which are our resources, all of our resources that we have. But I have to say, not only that we will think of that, but also those who rule the world will think of that. What do they have? What left to them? And it is possible that with this transit, rich people will get even richer, at least for some short period of time, because they will cruelly take from the others. But we, as we said, we simply are ordinary people. We should think what we have, which are our resources. And, our resources is not just money, as many people think today. Our abilities are our resource. It's our resource. Then our talents, that our experiences, our time and energy that is given to us by God. And if we use it wisely, we can create whatever we want, basically. It's not just the question of money. So in this time between 2023 or spring 2023 and spring 2024, people should think about that. What do they have and that can help them to overcome crisis, especially, of course, economical crisis. The last time Uranus and Jupiter were together in the sign of Taurus was from May 1940 to May 1941. Those were the years of terrible war, the Second World War, and great destruction. The war was closely connected with the great economic crisis that preceded it, and also was connected with the great greed of some Western structures who wanted to achieve the treasure of all of the world, but mainly in that time of Russia. And now something similar is happening. They're working on the destruction of the Slavic people, and other peoples who are close to them, and also on plundering of the Russian resources and other resources as well. And we are now again on the edge of a devastating war. Although I emphasize in my videos, I don't think it will come to that. But we are just on the border, and we are experiencing something very, very similar and quite destructive, as it was in the Second World War, but it will not be, I guess, that destructive, even though some economical crisis is like, how to say, blooming, or what was the word? It's coming simply, especially now this year, from the spring 2023 to the spring 2024. So Jupiter and Uranus made a conjunction in Taurus in May 1941 near the star Algol, which will also happen again in springtime of 2024. So you see, challenges are ahead of us, but there is definitely potential to overcome this. If you want to study how to overcome that, well, there are some days, 9th of May and 26th of May in this year, and there are some aspects that are showing us how this can be overcome. By studying those horoscopes for those days, we would find a way. But, I mean, there is a way how to overcome this, even if the danger is quite big. While Jupiter is in Taurus, its ruler is Venus. In this year, Venus will have a long transit through the sign of Leo from the beginning of June to October 9th. But what is further interesting is that Venus will be retrograde in the sign of Leo. In the retrograde period, from July 23rd to September the 4th of the year 2023, there will likely be a decline in the value of money and the possessions, especially of those who consider themselves to be the elite, some sort of elite, who were kind of ruling something, countries or even world. It is possible that many individuals will actually feel the same trend. Actually, everything depends on personal horoscope, but it's possible. It is further possible that in this time when Venus will be retrograde in Leo, that people will overthrow the rulers, some rulers, or at least one ruler, and return to the old values. As you can see now in France, they are working on the violent overthrow of the ruler or the government in that country, and it's quite possible that that will spread to other countries of European Union and maybe even somewhere else in the world. And I have nothing against this overthrowing of similar governments, and I don't have anything against people protests, but it is certain that this what is happening now in France is actually artificially created, so it's not spontaneous, and maybe it can even lead to some not desired results, not desired by ordinary people, but we'll see. Jupiter in Taurus ideologically brings conservative ideas. A return to the old values is inevitable. Some sort of conservatism is necessary now in economy also. We can even say it is the key for salvation in the next year, this year, from May to May 23 to May 24. So for now, we don't know whether will be some digital money or gold standard in the future, or whether it will be something completely different or combination of these two. But it seems that we have to go to the gold standard. At the same time, we see that in the East, they are introducing some digital currency, which will be used for the payments between countries, and this will actually replace the petrodollar, which is maybe excellent thing at the moment, I don't know, but definitely it will not be good if they introduce digital money for daily transactions of individuals. Hope it will not come still, maybe sometimes in the future. So we know also that Pluto is transiting Pluto in the natal chart of America, of US. And that this means that this is the end of the power associated with intimidation and money. The euro, as the dollar sister, is certainly in trouble also. They now drag Croatia into euro. The Croatians have euro since the beginning of 2023, for example. Now when euro is going to collapse, why? Well, most probably because they want to take money to suck up as much money as possible from those countries who are directly under their control, because they are losing Asia and Africa. As I live in Czech Republic, I hope that Czechs will still have their crown. They don't have euros, because that will maybe give some space for some manipulation, some independence, even though not even this or any other country of European Union is independent and sovereign. So the May 5th is the day of the lunar eclipse that will take place on the 14th degree of Scorpio. Every eclipse in Scorpio is very intense. Negative feelings run extensive, as does the need for power. According to some interpretations, this degree is the degree of intrigue, and yes, there will definitely be some, as well as fraud of all kinds, because someone loses power with this eclipse and cannot come to terms with it. This is true both globally and for individuals. So, in the lives of individuals, this eclipse will influence mainly people who have planets around the 14th degree of Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, and Aquarius. Not just planets, but as ascendant or MC around this degree, also they will be influenced by the eclipse. This eclipse is relatively young. It started occurring since 1608. So, speaking of the terms of eclipses, this is young eclipse, because eclipses last for many, many years and centuries. In recent history, the same eclipse happened in 1915, 1933, 1951, 1969, 1987, and 2005. What started in 2005, if we keep speaking about the close history, so what started in 2005 is now ending for many of us, and now is entering in a new phase. We can say of some spiritual development, let's say it like that. So you can think for yourself what happened with you around 2005. Did you start something in that time? If yes, it will end now. Did you have some power struggle? If yes, you most probably learned something from then, that period until now. And now I want to explain the meaning of this eclipse from the from the point of astrological psychology, sorry. So the need for power and control is a consequence of lack of faith in God or faith and trust in general. If a person or collective, we can speak about that also on mundane level, does not believe in the power of the universe and is not able to surrender to the laws of the universe, it tends toward obsessive control, which is now experiencing its peak with this eclipse. People and groups of people, nations even, that are under the influence of this energy force events to the end because only destruction, or possibly self-destruction, gives them strength. So they need to destroy something in order to gain strength. Essentially, this is very, very manipulative energy that we have now. And it can be released only by giving freedom. If it's about you, you need to give freedom to yourself. If it's about others, you need to give them freedom. So basically, those crazy people who want to rule the world, they need to give us freedom in order to stop this obsession. So if a person or a collective surrenders to this energy, in a negative sense, it leads to exploiting others in moments when they are the weakest. That's exploiting the weakness of others. You see, this is the other thing. So either this energy will manifest that we get freedom, or we are used by others because we are weak. And it works on mundane and individual level also. So if it is going to be this second version that they are using us until the end, or that any individual is using other person until the end, then, this will lead to crisis. On mundane level, that would be, of course, economic crisis and the pressure that is talking about so much now in the last time. So now you would ask if there is a way to overcome these energies in a positive way. Yes, of course, we already said something about freedom. But there is also something else that I want to say here. We actually need with this energies to understand how we can help others by helping ourselves, and also how we can help others by controlling ourselves. Our self-control is very beneficial, not for us, but for other people who are around us. We speak often about heroism. This is when we we fight for others, to liberate us. So a hero fights to liberate others. But there is something else, since I'm Serbian by origin, we talk also about choistvo. And this word means that we need to protect others from us, from ourselves. This is what we all need to learn now. Not only to be heroes for others, but even more how to protect others from ourselves. So the self-control is very important thing now with the eclipse in Scorpio. When we have self-control, we inspire other people to gain self-control also. And then we do not need others to control us. And this energy is actually with us from the end of 2021. But just now it's more and more intense in 2023, and we will feel its effect until spring 2024. On the 19th of May is the new moon in Taurus, we said. It's even talking more about Taurus archetype now. And now for Taurus people, new 6-month cycle starts, but also new 12-year cycle starts because of Jupiter in their sign. Taurus people need some flexibility and originality because of Uranus in their sign. And it's also time for that to start new projects, to start bringing into the world their new ideas, to gain more visions and so on, as Jupiter will help them to expand in some direction they choose in the next 12 years. Also, we can say for this Taurus people or anybody who has planets in Taurus, in this area of our life, we also have to, where we have Taurus sign, we have to have more how to say, ideas that are fresh, new, and even original ideas because of Uranus in Taurus. And even we can say the more visions and new ideas one has with this, the better it is. Then Mercury will be direct from the middle of the month, announces daily activities, new daily activities, announcing that those daily activities are normalizing. Now trips can be planned, deals can be arranged, and shopping can be done. And that's best from the very end of May and during June. And that is all for now that I wanted to tell you. If you wonder where I'm recording this is now in Egypt, but it's not very sunny today, as you see. So if you wish to have personal consultations with me, you can, of course, order those. Check my web pages, please, symbolicthinking.net. If I recommended some videos in this video, then you will find links under this video on YouTube. On my web pages, you will also find new service that is offered now. The name for it is the change of the code, the change of the perception. It is the method that I have developed by working with clients in recent years with the help of techniques that I learned and applied before. And on my website, I briefly explain how I see unconscious programs change. So check that also if you're interested in that. Also on my web pages, you will find online astrology school, which allows you to learn basics of astrology on your computer or mobile phone. If you like this video, sign up for my channel, like it, share it, and thank you very, very much for that in advance. I wish you happiness and prosperity, and see you soon.